We're joined live now by Aditi Anantanarayan, and Headlines Today's reporter who's been spending time with Lance Naik Hemraj's family in Mathura, where he was consigned to the eternal flames yesterday. Also joining us live from Lahore for a perspective is our political editor, Javed Ansari, who is on a journalistic visit to Pakistan at this time. I'd like to go across first to Aditi. Aditi, it isn't often that the media actually spends time with the families of Javans, considering that Javans are killed in the line of duty all the time. Here on Headlines Today, we're paying attention. We're specifically covering their tragedy because this is one that has captured the attention of an entire nation, perhaps the entire world as well, because of the barbarism with which this attack was actually carried out. What specifically do the families of these Javans actually want? Lance Naik Hemraj's family is one family you've been speaking to, Aditi.
Shiv, for that, I'll go directly to Hemraj's uncle here, Jagdish. सर, आप कह रहे थे कि आपको बहुत गर्व है, वो शहीद हुए हेमराज जी, बट क्या आपने ऐसा एक्सपेक्ट करा था कि ऐसा होगा?
सर ऐसा तो एक्सपेक्ट नहीं किया था, पर ऐसा है कि भाई तुम्हारा बच्चा तुम्हारा शहीद हुआ है, पर हमें ये भी गर्व है कि हमारे बच्चे की जो गर्दन कटी है, इसको प्रशासन को, केंद्र सरकार को सोचना चाहिए कि हम कब तक 1 महीने पहले वार्तालाप कर रहे थे मिलने की, समझौता करने की। क्या ऐसे में समझौता हो सकता है सर? और प्रशासन, ये तो केंद्र सरकार जाने सर। हमारे बच्चे ऐसे शहीद होंगे तो हम कौन भर्ती करेगा फौज में सर? आपको ये गर्दन जो कटी है मुंह तोड़ जवाब देना चाहिए था। हमारे पास ऐसा क्या सौदा नहीं है जो हम पाकिस्तान को घबराते हैं। हमारे पास इतना सौदा है कि उनकी जितनी जनसंख्या है इतने तो हमारे पास फोर्स है, हमारे पास सैनिक हैं। किस सौदा की कमी है? प्रशासन और ये क्यों घबरा रहे हैं? ये मंत्री लोग क्यों वो करते हैं? जैसे ये हदासा हुआ है, ये उनने मुंह तोड़ जवाब देने का हुआ है सर। जो गर्दन कटी है वो हमको कुछ नहीं समझ रहे। आप पीछे हट रहे हो, क्यों हट रहे हो? ये तो आप लोगों की कमी है ना।
So clearly, Shiv, the family here, the emotions are very strong, and they are saying that this time the government should not take a back step. They should stand firm in front of the Pakistani government and make sure they have to put the word across that such brutality is unacceptable, and they are not going to tolerate such incidents again in the future. Shiv.
And there's no reason why the Indian government should continue in the same vein that it has, considering that barbarism of this kind has happened before, except that this time perhaps it's out in the open and it has the nation's attention, perhaps like no other single act in the line of control ever has, barring, of course, the Kargil war. But the barbarism, the brutality, the cruelty of what really happened on Tuesday morning, right here on in the Mendhar sector on the line of control, is something that has to be listened to be believed. You heard what the uncle of Lance Naik Hemraj just told our reporter. The other Jawan, Lance Naik Sudhakar Singh, he was beheaded after he was killed. His body was mutilated and the head was carried across back by the border action team of the Pakistan Army into their side of the line of control. Now Pakistan has completely denied this, but our army saw this and has recorded it. The fact is, this is a complete contravention of all rules of war, all rules of engagement, and especially the Geneva Convention. Also, it is a confirmation and an affirmation before the international community and the world that beheading, mutilation, and complete contraventions of the Geneva Convention are in fact standard operating procedures for the Pakistan Army, who've become increasingly indistinguishable from the terrorists who they fund, train, and infiltrate into India.
What more are we going to do beyond just empty words? People want, this is the 10th ceasefire violation that's taking place recently. How do we ensure that Pakistan gets the message that this is not acceptable?
See, the ceasefire violation by itself is something that's unfortunate and obviously counterproductive in terms of what we are trying to achieve, both sides. But this has gone beyond the ceasefire violation. Coming across the line of control, we can talk about it, we can settle it, we can argue about it. But the manner in which two soldiers have been and their bodies have been treated is completely unacceptable. It's obviously shocking. It's emotionally very distressing. But in human terms and in terms of how nations treat each other, this is completely and totally unacceptable. And I think it's been conveyed in uncertain terms, in as strong terms as we could use, to Pakistan. What we will do and what we should do, I think, will become apparent in days to come. Can't take spot decisions immediately on being hurt by something terrible that has happened. We will take a thoughtful decision. Obviously, whatever happens is factored into the decisions that we take at an appropriate stage, at an appropriate level, and I can assure you that will be done.
This type of incident where prisoners have been mutilated by the Pakistan army is not the first of its kind. Though when you go on the various television shows which are coming on, the Pakistani representatives invariably make it a point to emphasize that the Pakistani army cannot and does not do these things. Firstly, that is historically incorrect.
Our political editor Javed Ansari is live with us from Lahore. Javed, it's very shortly going to be 48 hours since that operation here at the Mendar sector happened just a few kilometers from here. Salman Bashir, the Pakistan High Commissioner in Delhi, has been summoned. The Indian Deputy High Commissioner has been summoned in Pakistan about what happened 4 days ago. All of this really symbolic, nothing really concrete on the ground, and all of it, of course, underlined by the fact that Pakistan has officially denied this particular incident in Mendar.
Well, indeed they have. And the Pakistan foreign minister is on record having said that, India is free to, first they've denied it, they say this did not happen, and they say that India is free to move the UN and let the UN observer group verify and investigate and verify whether this incident or anything like this happened at all. So the Pakistan government is in denial. If you talk to civilian leaders, if you talk to politicians, they condemn it. They believe that it is unfortunate, but some have even gone as far as to hint that perhaps there were some non-state actors, perhaps a section of the Taliban were involved. I interviewed Mr. Kasuri, the former foreign minister of Pakistan, yesterday, and he came quite close to saying that indeed, it were other elements like Taliban that may have been involved, but then even he made the point that, given the two different narratives on both sides, it's best that the independent observer group, the UN group, the UN should come and investigate this ship.
Well, the UN, will it come and investigate this? Is that what both countries want? Is that what India wants at all, considering this is supposed to be a bilateral issue? It's white noise that India is faced with from Pakistan. What else could they have really expected? Meanwhile, it is peaceful on this part of the line of control here at Mendar, though we're getting inputs that there is firing going on in at least 2 other sectors. We will get confirmation on that in just a short while from now. But the fact is, where do things really go from here? Is a tentative peace indicative of anything at all? How will the army respond? And most importantly, how does the army feel about the symbolism, the heavy words, and the rhetoric that comes out of Delhi and Islamabad, while things are so gravely different right here on the line of control? Ruchika, it's a difficult situation, but the army is looking to the government, the political establishment, to take a seriously strong stance this time, because Jawans will continue to die.